Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to the coffee shop, coffee corner. It's not the coffee shop, it's the coffee corner, Mary. Yes, welcome. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming in and joining me. Whoo, crazy 24 hours. I can't believe how much came through my feed, how many things came in. Um, it's it's amazing. So I'm going to cover a few things and talk about a lot of the energies that are coming in. And I'm going to do my little disclaimer. What I am saying, I mean, this is what I'm just going by the astrology and the alignments that are coming in with the astrology. That's what I'm going by. And I am going by, there is some things I have little hunches about. Could be true, could not be true, whatever, but I do have little hunches, intuitive thoughts that have come in, and people have okay, let's just get started, baby. First of all, we are in some of the most fabulous energy that we have ever been in I don't know how long. We are in such beautiful waves of flow and energy that's coming in. This is absolutely beautiful. This is wonderful manifestation. This is stepping into your own intuition, stepping into your own alignment. This is where the energy is. I went through each of everybody's horoscope the other day and talked about, this is what you should be looking at. I think that was yesterday in in the um in the energy, with what's coming through. There is such a beautiful flow, but yet there is this crazy movie that's being played before us. And this crazy movie is quite interesting as I'm watching it. And I hear, people are like, oh, let's say, all of this with Ukraine and wanting to wave the flag and save Ukraine, save Ukraine, save Ukraine. Does Ukraine want to be saved? Like, sorry. Does Ukraine want to be saved? Videos I've seen are basically the same videos. Some of them they have come out and said, "Oh, those are from 2014." Putin declared what he was going to say in an interview back, I think in was it 2021, that for an hour and a half they interviewed him, and he said, "This is what I'm going to be doing." He said it. There is so much that people have to awaken to with all of this. And awaken to what is going on. I mean, Ukraine is one of the most corrupt countries in the world. It's on the top 5 list of corruptions. And it does hold a lot of information. It does take aid not only from Western NATO countries, but it is one of those, it's Russian, right? The Ukraine itself was, it's basically a newer country to my understanding, and the people seem to be quite happy to have Russia back in. And that's very similar to the alignment of the astrology of when Germany went into Austria. The Austrian people were very happy to have Germany back in there. They were waving, the flags around and quite happy to see it. The thing is, there is this. You hear Boris Johnson coming out. He's going to be doing all of this. This is where, Biden sort of rumbled something. I don't know if you could really understand what he was saying, but I think he's basically throwing his people underneath the fucking bus. And same with Canada, throwing us under the bus. There's so many things that, even going back with a lot of the correlation to the Iraqi war, when Colin Powell went to the UN, right? Blinken went to the UN, basically saying the same, very similar things. And now they're wanting to put all these sanctions on. Do you think with these sanctions are going to do anything with the Russian Ukraine? Call me a conspiracy theorist, but you know what? So far I've been fucking right. They are wanting to stop him with the payments. There's this it's a big through Belgium, and it's where all of the world goes through, and they do all of these transfers and to do world trade, and they want to cut him out. He wants to be cut out. Putin doesn't want to be a part of that. He's even stated he doesn't like cut me out. I mean, in since 2018 with the US Treasury bonds, he's been dropping his US Treasury bonds. He doesn't own anything. He doesn't own any Treasury bonds at all. He owns gold. He's been investing in gold. He's been investing in other things. He has stated what was going on and what was being placed within Ukraine. He's also said he wants to reunite his empire, reunite it, but not in the way like we get stuck in the old USSR, but he wants to bring forth a new unified Russia. That's what he stated. That's what he says. I don't trust the Ukraine president as far as I could throw him, and I just I think he's lying through his teeth. Um, I posted a picture of a Russians and Ukrainians dancing in front of tanks. The videos you've seen, there's like how many videos are very much the same, and one of them is going flying, and it looks like it's an explosion of a warehouse. Well, he stated that there are things that are going on in the Ukraine. It is a deep state. It's a part of the deep state. And this is trying to get rid of the deep state, but the deep state doesn't want to get rid of it. It wants to throw you back into the 3D world. Wants you to get scared, to see, look at what's going on, to throw you off track of the most beautiful energy that's coming in for you to work on your divine self. Stepping forward into this beauty and into this divineness as we go towards a beautiful new moon in Pisces. But you can get lost in this all. You can get lost in it. And the thing is that I know China really went deep. I think it was 9 fighter planes, and they went a little bit further than they usually do in Taiwanian. I think that's how you say it. Hopefully I said it right. Airspace. It's not like they haven't, they haven't gone that far, but yeah, but have you noticed or have you looked into, and this is why I say people look into the economy, look at the economics, look at where the structure, follow the money. The money, as I'm doing the astrology and things coming up with the economy, and I'm following the money, I'm like, do you know that China China is buying all its wheat and everything from Russia? Did you know that over 100,000 tons of coal China has bought from Russia? I mean, Russia has been doing training exercises on the border for some time. And he even said he's going in. He said he's going in. Of course, NATO's not going to go in. Of course, NATO's not going to do fuck all. Because they know he wants to take over Ukraine. Ukrainians want to have Russia back in there. I know a lot of a lot of people who live here in Canada. No, they don't. No, they don't. Wow. A lot of the other information that's coming through, yes, they do. And the Ukrainian president is welcoming it. This is part of the propaganda. I said a few weeks ago that you are going to be showing the biggest spell ever, bigger than what happened in 2020, because Mars and Venus is going to hit 22 degrees on that Capricorn spot, which is the same spot that they started the pandemic. the same place that Saturn and Pluto met. And here it is. Mars is coming in to do the cleanup to show you, hey, take a look. Take a look at what's going on. Here it is, Mars and Venus. These are our personal planets that are really getting us to really take a deep dive and take a look at, okay, let's get moving. Let's create something new. Let's go into it, as Dolores Cannon said, into that new world, into that 5D realm, into where you can create your abundance. But if you're getting hung up on so much, like, one of the things I watch TikTok once in a while. I was really watching it during the convoy because that's the only place they're posting. I wish they post it on Rumble or some other places. TikTok is owned by the Chinese government. Just an FYI. So anything that's being posted on here, where do you think it goes? Like, it's like, that's the reason why they're trying to oust us, astrology and tarot or anything spirituality off of these sites. They don't want them. They don't want them on there because they're going to come in with the truth. Now, I know what I say, and a lot of people are going to get angry at me again. A lot of people are not going to like what I say. They're going to get frustrated with what I say. Fine. I hope you get frustrated. I hope you get angry. I hope you start opening your fucking eyes and start seeing things. You're going to see so much propaganda coming out on World War III. Going to start seeing it everywhere. You're going to start seeing right now, Biden has said, you know what, you guys, you're going to have to pay out of your own pocket because gas is going up. I already told you guys that gas is going to be going up. It's not like we don't have our own oil and gas here, especially in Canada. It's not only that we can be self-sufficient here in Canada. Yes, we can. I was having an argument with my son. He goes, well, we do it in China because it's such cheaper labor. Do you think that that being a country of a Western country, that we can't pay our people an appropriate wage to create the harmony and bliss? And do you think that when we start doing that, it's not going to help our economy? Same in the United States. They have the farmland. They have the oil and gas reserves. Not even reserves. They have Alaska, for Christ's sake. Awakening. Awakening. It's like these people want to, the elites want to keep the control. They don't want to let it go. Why? Why? Because they got a pretty good world going on for themselves. But you had people like the truckers coming in who are starting to roll in and started to get you to really see, awaken even deeper, awaken with what is going on. The astrology is backing all of this. It's showing you all of this. Pluto at what, 27 degrees, conjuncted the natal chart of the United States, started to do the awakening. I did a video on that, on how that is awakening, how it's uprooting all what needs to be uprooted, all what needs to be shown. There is this energy that's coming in, and Putin is the greatest gangster of all. He's just going in there, he's doing his thing. When he is, like, everything is taken away, all whatever sanctions, what do you think Putin and China are going to do? Putin has already legalized cryptocurrency. Mexico is going to be legalizing cryptocurrency, and so is El Salvador. Because they don't have to rely on how the world is being run right now with the money. It's decentralizing things, decentralizing. Now, if they do that, they know that they're going to crash. They're going to crash the system. They're going to crash the United States dollar. And EU doesn't want this to happen. They don't want all these on, because where does the EU get all of its resources? They put all of their eggs into one basket, and said, "Come on, Russia, you're cheap. Give me your oil and gas." Putin even said the other day, "Continue doing what you're doing. I'm cutting everything off. I'll cut everything off. Pay $2,000 a month in Germany for your heat." It's not exactly like Germany is a sunshiny country with getting, that's tropical. Awakening. Awakening. This is showing us and teaching us how to be our sovereign self, how to be self sufficient, and getting us to awaken to the self sufficiency that we need to do and the communities we need to connect with. This isn't this isn't a time to get into fear. Like so many people are like, "I'm so scared." No, don't get scared. This is a time to really connect and really begin to create the world that you really want to create. I sort of started feeling a lot of the anxiety and everything that was coming forth, and I thought to myself, why am I feeling this? This isn't actual. And I'm like, oh, I posted a few things on my feed to see what people would say. That's what I do. And it's interesting. Many people are posting everything about the Ukraine and what they have to offer and everything else. And I'm just like, yeah, that's nice. But did you post anything about how corrupt they are? Did you post anything of like, isn't it interesting when Trump started to reveal things, they wanted to impeach him? That was very interesting. I thought it was. I thought that was kind of a correlation on how he called out how much corruption was going on there and started to bring it up. But Nancy Pelosi didn't want that all to come out. Neither did Biden. Why? Their children work on some of the biggest uh, oil and gas boards in Ukraine. Hunter Biden. Why did they hide the Hunter Biden thing? Because he's part of the Ukraine. He sits on some of those boards. Follow the money. The astrology, the planets are trying to awaken us and try to show us, are you paying attention? If you don't fall into it, they can't do anything. That's what I said about the coronavirus. If you fall into it, they can't do anything. If you say no, and people are like, "Oh my God, they're going to throw me into," they're going to throw every single Canadian or every single, millions and millions of people into what? Camps? They have them. Are they going to throw them into them? I don't think so. This is where people have to awaken and have to start looking and start to see. This is where we start to look at what is happening. And the other thing that was brought to my attention, the day that everything happened with Russia going into the Ukraine, in New York, Trump's case was dropped. Interesting. And she was so gung-ho on taking him under, like taking him. But with this happening and then Trump, no, things just, yeah. I found that really, really interesting that the case was dropped. And then the Durham report with the Supreme Court. So there is like something holding like some White House, that, and plus with that January 6th was when they were going through each of the states, and there was one state, I think it was Arizona, and they went and they deliberated and they're coming back with the evidence. And that's when the gates were open on January 6th. And they brought in everybody in, and these guys were taking selfies with all of these protesters that came in and on January 6th in Washington, D.C. Found that interesting too. Global peace. There is more global peace under Trump. Now, I'm not going to toot the horn for Trump. I know he has good, bad, but you know what? He was a gangster in himself. He was. And he was saying with the Ukraine deep state and the bioweapons that were there. And that's being exposed too with the bioweapons. But nobody wants to look at that. That can't be. Why not? United States has ties into Ukraine. Canada, England, all of the EU. What do you think they've been doing there? They're even talking about maybe this is true. Maybe this is one of the little hunches I got, and I looked into it a little bit further. Is that they were doing another virus, but it had to do with rats. I don't know. I think something came along with that in the dark ages, with rats and a virus or something. I'm not too sure. The other thing that I want people to look at is like, all of these people are running to the underground and into the railway system. And the railway system or the subway system in the Ukraine is actually quite good. And it's very, very deep, deep, deep down. But there's no dust. There's no shelling. Why isn't all the buildings in Kyiv, exploding right now? Thought that was interesting as well. And, just talking to some military people I know, um, was saying, no, we're just sitting back holding tight. And with everybody, and one guy was laughing. He goes, with all of these cell phones and all of everything's being videotaped, wouldn't more videos be coming out of dead bodies, of things being piled up, buildings being blown up, warehouses are being blown up? So this is where I think people need to start really looking at. And with the Ukraine agreed, the president of Ukraine agreed that Taiwan was part of China. And we haven't heard anything from Putin through all of this. He hasn't said anything. The United States has said things, but Putin hasn't. So I find it all very interesting. I'm just like trying to get it through my little head. And when I see it with the Mars and Venus, and they've gone past the 22 degrees and they're moving towards Pluto, this is where I'm like, yeah, okay. And we still have Neptune in Pisces, and he kind of controls media and propaganda. But we have Jupiter in there, and Jupiter is saying, I will expand whatever you want to focus on. And the sun's coming in. I'll highlight it for you. It's what you want to look at. It's what you want to start to believe in. We have a Jupiter-Neptune conjunction. I talked about that a little bit before. They control things with water and oil and gas. So we're going to see some crazy things happen between now and April with oil and gas and with water. And there's water issues that what the Ukraine has done with other countries and stopping the dam and things like that. So we're going to see some crazy things coming out about water restrictions. It is where this awakening is happening, but nobody wants to see it because it's such truth, it's so unbelievable. That can't be true. That can't be true. And I find myself, when I go into like, oh, is that, getting myself caught up in it. And I'm just like, no, I got to come back. Why am I getting so frustrated? Why am I getting so hung up on all of this? And I'm just like, okay, I know why. I'm losing my way and I'm falling into the deep state. And I got to pull myself back. And I got to pull myself back. And if you didn't watch the news for 2 weeks, what would have changed in your life? For me, I would still be doing what I'm doing. It wouldn't have changed. I would still be coming here and talking to you about the astrology. I'd still be doing my readings and my courses. That's what I'd still be doing. And creating the vibrations that I'm still wanting to create and put out there. So we have this where, energy that's out there that we got to look at. And there is a lot that has to do with about, the Russians and every time the liberals or the Democrats get in there, there's war. Funny. And these are supposed to be the ones that are for the people. So awakening. So with the American Russian deep state, and this is bringing in where Putin is really wanting to expose it, and he doesn't want to deal with that. He doesn't. The deep state belongs to everything to do with NATO, the EU. He doesn't want anything to do with that. He wants the sanctions. Pull me on, because every time you put me on sanctions, it makes me more independent. I'm not dependent upon you. I'm not dependent upon you for your wheat. I'm not dependent upon you for your food. I am growing. I'm doing it ourselves. So this is where, of us looking at this, and us, um, coming in with fresh eyes. And I think because, with the Ukraine and Hunter Biden and January 6th, I think this is where we're going to be, things are still they're wanting to hide it. They're wanting to hide it. And when it comes into the 3D war, and we are having to find that with history, politics, all of this, where the astrology was, and with Iraqi on both sides, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And watching people fall for the spell again. And it's like, wow, okay, we got to step away from this. We got to create it. Sometimes it's so hard to think that, oh, we can have such beautifulness and create such wonderful things in our lives. But look at over here. And we fall back into the crazy of it all. This is where we have to understand our humanness and being human, and know that, okay, right. I see it, but we can, just like the GPS, we can reroute ourselves and come back into this beautiful selves of who we are. We can come back into this beautiful state, and allow ourselves to really stand in the glory and the joy and the bliss. This is where we can find, some real beautiful things to really create in our lives. And this is like big changes, big moments right now. And with that moon, the moon today's in Capricorn. So this is our beliefs are shifting, and we see all things, and clarity's there. We got that square with Mars square in Uranus. So this is wanting to bring in happiness and joy. And the struggle is, how can I bring in happiness and joy when Ukraine's being bombed? Are they? Are you being bombed right now? Too much of the unknown. Too much of the unknown. What's behind the curtain, right? It's like, Wizard of Oz, what's behind the curtain? And we have that Mars and Venus, and they're leaving that 22 degrees and now getting closer to Pluto. And with the sun at 7 degrees in Pisces, and the moon in Capricorn, this is, and there's some great sextiles up there. This is getting, a grip on things. The moon in Sag kind of like can get you kind of crazy and all excited about stuff, and you don't want to do too much. But as the sun is in Pisces, to float away. This is, looking at things in that you truly want. This is serious. This is serious today. And the cap is bringing in, for decisions to build up on your dreams. What is the foundations that you need to do to build up on what you want to do, on your dreams, on your resources? We're going to see crazy shit happening. We're going to see, because they're trying to bottom out gold and the stock market rise. We're going to see things happen like that. So this is, we have to really not fall into the propaganda. We have learned not to fall into the propaganda. The propaganda that we saw with the coronavirus, with everything that was coming out. You got to get the shot. You got to get the shot. You got to get the shot. Now we're seeing, and especially when something is so experimental. So experimental. And through this all, there's a report coming out from the CDC, that 10,000 page report on everything. And they're still trying, not wanting to bring that all out. But doctors are saying the numbers are not going to lie. The numbers are not going to lie. So this is really, especially with that moon and cap, This is where we need to start shifting and start looking at our own, a lot of, our own ideas, our own thoughts, our own selves to move into a greater place. There's a lot of revelations that are going to be coming out, and they're going to feel crazy. And things behind, what is behind, again, what is behind that curtain? This is radical. This is crazy. This is a time to follow your destiny, not Joe Biden's, not Trudeau's, not the Democrats, not the liberals, not the Republicans, not the conservatives, your destiny. This is where we start to move into better things. And this is where we're going to find, with, our minds around the course of action on what we can take, and also change our patterns that we're used to. This is getting us to get, uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable because it's new, it's unknown. We're tapping into beautiful lines of diamond energy that's coming through with the Christ consciousness coming in really lightening us up. But it's like when we get there, it's like, oh my God, can we have this illumination? I'd rather go and sit there and watch and watch things, the war. This is when, as the sun gets closer to Jupiter, and this is us leading to a better place. There is fear, huge fear out there. And that's with that Mercury as it gets closer to Saturn. Because Saturn wants to restrain you. Saturn wants to keep you into, you stay here, okay. Remember, Saturn is Satan. I will keep you here. It's the devil card. If you stay here, I will poke and prod you if that's what you want. I will burn you if that's what you want. I will throw you underneath if that's what you want. It's up to you. Same thing with when you had the Mafia brothers that were all together in Capricorn. If you want to go that way, you can go that way, or you can create the abundance and the joy and the bliss that you want to go towards. That's your choice. We're going to see some crazy things that are coming out. We're going to see some things. There's things that came out, and some of them that they tried that I mentioned: inflation, supply chain problems, government control, energy control, food, COVID, refugees, a lot of refugees, a lot of people moving at that time. We have propaganda looking at our resources, mainstream media controlling what we see, controlling what we say. All of that has been coming in even before, but really starting to see the highlights since 2020. Awakening. Is there going to be hyperinflation? Yes, you're going to probably see that within the next 2 months. Been telling people there's things that you got to do to prepare. Yeah, we're in this great energy, but even within the energy, even within what we're doing, you still have to do the work. And the work is, what are you doing to prepare? What are you doing to create that abundance in your life? I can see, and I've already told people, gas prices are going to double. But who are they going to blame it on? They're going to blame it on the Russians. It boggles my mind when I go up to Fort St. John and I can see the fucking pipeline there, and they're paying how much for gas? Doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't make any sense that when in Alaska they ship everything over to China to be refined because California and Oregon suck ass to some little girl who's 17, 18 years old. Oh, green, green. And one of the agendas, one of the biggest farce is to make everything green. What does that mean? What does that mean? That is that's another big crazy propaganda thing that's coming out. That's getting people to really believe it. You think electric cars are better than combustion cars? Okay. Do you not need oil and gas to still run your car if it's electric? Just, you know, just asking. And right now, people who do have electric cars are still paying twice as much to plug them in because electricity has gone up. How far can you drive before you have to change the battery out? How far can you drive? The batteries are made out of lithium. How far can you drive? Just asking. Before you change the battery out and buy a battery that's probably twice as much as what the car is worth. And right now, there's how many recalls on some of these cars? GM said they got the chip. Ford says, oh, we can't get a chip. We have so many Ford Raptors sitting here waiting for the chip. Interesting. So they're going to make cars that they're going to recall? Awakening. It's not, it is where we can go, and when we look at the matrix and how the matrix is, we can go with the ignorance, which is around 2018 to 2021, or knowledge. We have lack, which we're going to be seeing from 2023, or abundance. Suffering and war, going all the way up to 2028. Or love and peace. We saw love and peace. We were witness to love and peace. For 3 solid weeks, we saw love and peace. Honk, honk. We saw it. We witnessed it. We saw people hugging. We saw people shaking hands. We saw people feeding. There was food. More food. Where did the food come from? There's a food shortage. But they were able to feed people? There is toilet paper there too. Did you not see that? There were saunas and hot tubs. Come on in. Have a beer. How Canadian is that? Minus 25. Let's go into a hot tub and have a beer. And minus 25. That's so Canadian. Just saying. Might be crazy. But this is where we need to wake the fuck up. I'm with you. I get frustrated. I see it. But someone asked me, why aren't you posting on TikTok? I just had that the other day. Again, I'm like, I don't want to post on TikTok. It doesn't feel right. I know Facebook isn't that great. I know Instagram isn't that great. YouTube, okay, I get it all. But at least I know what the fuck I'm dealing with. So this is what our awakening is. This is what this energy is coming in for us to get into it and get us aware of. Whew, there's so much here that I want it to go through that, it's where we have to move forward into better things. It is there. Wouldn't it be, you know what? I'm going to throw this out there, and I know a few other people have. Wouldn't it be cool if the truckers started their own political party? Can think of somebody that would be really good to lead it. I don't know if you'd want to. I don't know. The thing is that to do that, I don't think they to. You really would have to step back. Trump didn't want to be a part of NATO anymore. And you think of it, but why not? We're all friends. Really? You're so much friends? We gave $500,000 to the Ukraine. Where the hell is that money? $500 million went to the Ukraine. Yet, yet, yet. And this is another revelation of awakening. Why isn't there clear, clean water on reserves? Just saying. Whether maybe the band leaders are corrupt, I don't know. Did the money go? I don't know. They're still turning the water on and it's brown. But I can get clean water to Africa. I can, one of the most corrupt states or countries in the world, I can give $500 million to. I can tell the Indian government to stop being mean to their protesters who are being peaceful protesters that are farmers, because I'm the Prime Minister of Canada. I can ridicule what's happening in Cuba during a peaceful protest that's happening in Canada. That's where the frustration is, just like, oh my God. But if I give you that energy, if I'm going to go to that energy, you know what? That's going to take away from my abundance, because I'm going to go over here to where the peace and the abundance is, because I'm going to grow something. I want to create something that is fabulous. That's what I want to do. And the thing is, the one thing is that we're going to see over the next 2 years, especially with people with low income, because they've been dependent upon the government, that the government has no money for them anymore. Or there's not going to be any CPP or OAC for people. And that's the same thing in the United States. People who, the pension plans. There's not going to be any money there. So this is an awakening of saying, wow, what do you mean? We can create our own self-sustaining environment where we can take care of one another. We can come together in harmony and bliss and grow food, raise cattle, raise sheep, chickens, whatever it is, ducks. And we can come together and we can really have something that is self-sustaining as a country, even as vast and wide as it is, even though people live so far away. We did it. We did it. Why can't we continue it? Don't get lost in the propaganda out there. Don't get lost in the craziness that they're trying to sell you. They're trying to sell you war. Do you want to go to war? And do you think the war would stay in Europe? It always has. Really? What if? What if? Crazy. The United States government is the next Germany. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? What if? Just going by the astrology, just looking at the astrology. I look at the stars, see what I see. No wonder they want to shut us up. Because we're telling you, well, Pluto's here. This is what Pluto does every time Pluto's here. Oh. So for us to live. There's so much, for us to start to go into. One more thing I just want to say is, and it came out at the Super Bowl, and my daughter brought this to my attention. Something about Jim Carrey promoting the new 5G. Don't get it. Because that's where they can do this Havana Syndrome. Call me a conspiracy theorist. The Havana Syndrome, and this is where some people in Canada are now experiencing from being in the protests. So those great big trucks with a speaker on top. They were there when our dictator decided to call martial law onto Canada. And this is what has happened, is that people are getting headaches, blisters, dizziness. This is where it's feeling that they're feeling out of alignment. And in fact, that when she brought that to me, I looked it up, because this is the same astrology used within it's called the LRADs, to stop protesting in Iraq. And it's the same similar astrology that was brought out for the Iraqians to stop them from protesting. It is what they bring out to stop people from protesting. They call it the Havana one, because they're bringing it out in Cuba to keep people from from stopping to protest. People in Australia are finding that they're getting weird symptoms, headaches, dizziness, blisters, and some people who were down there at the protest are finding the same thing here in Canada. So the 5G stuff, not the energy of the divine 5G, but the 5G that they're trying to bring in when it comes to a new Wi-Fi routers and things that are coming in. It's the craziest. It's crazy. But call me a conspiracy theorist. I don't care. You can't be afraid. This is a time for living your most amazing life. I'm telling you, it's intense, but it's great. And there's beautiful energy out there for us to grab hold of and move ahead. If it wasn't great, I've been telling you for the last 2 years what the energy is. Now I'm telling you the energy is really fabulous. Let's go for it. Don't fall for the propaganda. Don't fall for the bullshit. This is where it's like, it's this show is to get rid of the deep state. To get rid of the deep state, and people people bought into that coronavirus matrix shit. Don't get stuck in the coronavirus matrix. Don't get the booster. You know how I felt about the shots all along. And hold on, one more thing. They're going to be asking people, and this is another conspiracy, maybe I'm crazy, because of people who got the shot might be having HIV. How scary is that? So HIV tests are going to be coming out for people who've had the shot. It might be part of the screening automatically. So when you go into the hospitals and you go into places, and they'll ask if you've been vaccinated with the coronavirus vaccination. And if you say yes, and that's going to be part of the screening. They may not tell you, but it will be part of the screening that they're going to be looking into if people have HIV or not. What? And guess who's in charge of it all? Who started this whole fucking thing with things to do with AIDS and doing some fucked up tests? Little monkey man called Fauci, head of Moderna. Ow! Stay in the light. Stay in your beauty, and don't let anybody knock you off your post. Stand tall, stand proud, be in that joy, be in that bliss, be in that beautiful vibration of love and light, because you guys are the light. You are the beauty. You are the substance. Let's go ahead. Let's go and rule the world, baby. It's ours. Have a blessed one, and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.